Hi guys! Welcome to another episode of the Naina Redhu experience. And today I am still talking about influencer marketing for brands. I have a really good question that someone who listens to my podcast and follows me on Instagram has sent me. I'm going to first read out the question and then attempt an answer. I am launching a new store location for their brand, obviously. My social media team sat down with me and spent 3 hours coming up with a gift box and invitation to send to about 30 to 35 well-established influencers in different segments like fashion, food, lifestyle, and then people who have been part of my journey from day one. Each box would cost about rupees 3,000 to put together and design and deliver. Upon my initial insistence, I wanted it to have a very personal touch. A bottle of my sangria, my mom's cookies which are popular with my customers, 2 homemade hair masks because I'm a big believer in coming up with things from our kitchen instead of chemicals. So I listened to them and I came home. And then last night I thought, I will spend about 1 lakh rupees to maybe get 10 seconds of a mention on Instagram by these wonderful ladies. Some will use the stuff, some maybe not. Maybe a handful will actually come in to experience my services. I decided to scrap it all. 10 disabled people could get a wheelchair to become mobile and live their lives in that money. I'm just going to send a nice personalized invite instead and give the money to charity. Am I being too idealistic and mixing up my value system with business? Wow, honestly, there is so much to unpack here. Thoughtful brands are very much appreciated. This is clearly someone who is thoughtful and they're running a brand accordingly. It is business at the end of the day. So, you have to show profits, I guess. You might not have investors as a small brand. So, you maybe don't have to show them, profit, how the profits are growing. But with any business, you need to have revenues flowing in, income flowing in, etc. I would, they question, are they mixing their own internal value system with business? I don't think you can clearly separate the two anyway. This is your values inform your business decisions. For example, even with my friends, I would not like to bother them out of the blue. I would text them and say that, hey, can we talk? Or hey, can we meet? It's the same thing I do with my clients and people that I work with. It's always a text or a scheduled call, etc. So you respect people's boundaries and that flows into what your brand is. So I don't think you're mixing up your values in the sense that there's anything wrong with that. I think that's fine, to inform your professional choices based on your internal moral compass and your value system. I don't think that is a problem at all. Gifting in general, I think I have spoken about it earlier, but now even I don't remember what I said and when I said. So a lot of these podcast episodes tend to, at least to me, they sound repetitive because to me it's like, ये पहले बताया नहीं हुआ है मैंने, I think इसके बारे में बात करी हुई है. But gifting, I think, is part of marketing strategy. So it's not a standalone that is suddenly going to get you so many customers coming in or so much word of mouth, etc. It is part of your marketing strategy. So whatever budget you have for gifting is part of your marketing budget. So if you have a marketing budget and there is some of it you can divert towards gifting, then sure, you can try that. It would also depend on this. Like I said, if it's a large brand, you have a larger marketing budget, maybe you have a larger gifting budget as well, where you can afford to send the products that you make. Those products are not free. They've cost money. They've cost money in R&D. They've cost money in, packaging. They've cost money in making the product, etc. And it's not, even when a large brand sends a gift, for example, it's not like, oh, you free stuff, bhej diya hai. There is a reasoning behind it and it can be used to some extent. For me, for example, personally, whenever I receive like a gift from a brand, if it is something that I am going to use or if it is a brand that I use, even if I'm not going to use that particular product, the least I do out of courtesy and professionalism is I post an Instagram story and I say mail time, gift time, thank you so much X brand, thank you for sending this to me. There's something about I like the packaging, I like the number of items, I'm like yay, and I'll put a nice gif going yay, this is so cool, thank you very much. It's not a direct way of saying oh ye khareed lo, go buy this, because I still haven't used it, it's a gift, I might not use it, and so I don't want the responsibility of saying oh this is an amazing product, use it, buy it, etc. if a brand has sent it to me as a gift. So I appreciate gifts, of course. Like if someone sent me a bottle of sangria, if it was a stranger, I might not drink it because it's just the way how things are these days. I don't know what's in the bottle. But if it is someone that I know and I have associated with, or I have had a meeting with, and it has been a good vibe, it is someone I would like to work with, then I would definitely give it a shot. With beauty products, things like hair masks, etc. Again, if it's someone I don't know, there is an element of trust and credibility involved. So for you to make a gift item, it costs 3,000 rupees to send it out. There are so many times where brands send me edible stuff, and by the time I actually get back to the apartment, that stuff has already gone bad. So it doesn't look nice for me to then post about it any which ways. The brand feels like, "Arey, Naina ko bheja, Naina ne post nahi kara." I feel bad. It feels unprofessional. So I don't think gifting is as effective and efficient as it could be. But I don't think that is a mistake on the brand's part or a mistake on the influencer's part. Sometimes things just don't work out, and that's not gifting ka problem. That is generally kabhi bhi ho sakta hai. So it's a part of your marketing budget. If you have it as a part of your marketing budget, I think gifting can work. I'll give you an example of, in my case, for example, I don't think it has worked. About 3-4 years ago, I had photographed some people at Fashion Week, and I thought, they had appreciated the photographs, commented on Instagram when I posted the photo and said, thank you for this nice portrait. I understand that a lot of people are being polite when they're saying that. They might not necessarily love the portrait. They might be like, okay, nice portrait, she posted it, thank you. So I printed a few of those on canvas frames. These were 8x10, and I think each frame cost at least like 1,700 rupees to 2,000. So for someone like me to do it, it was like, okay, 10% marketing ka budget hai usme, what can I do? I can do something every 3 months. So I had thought of it at that point, and I packaged those gifts. They weren't personalized, but I did send them out to, I don't remember how many people, but a few people all over India. And nothing ever came of it. Like ever. None of those people hired me. None of those people even took a photo of the stuff that I sent and posted it on their Insta or their social media or their stories. Like none of them. So I understand that it can, and there were like handwritten letters that I'd sent with them. So it was a little disappointing. Because I was doing it for the first time. I think gifting in general can work if you do it consistently. Because then what happens is that you have this kind of rapport with someone, and they expect it, and they support you, and you support them, and it's like a give and take. So it's not a very professional way of doing marketing, but it is an element. And the kind of stuff that I get, there are clothes or beauty products from well-established brands, and I'll always say, hey, thank you so much, this looks nice, new sunscreen, or new dress, new collection, etc., etc. With clothing, it's different because I usually say that can I choose something from a catalog, because I'd much rather it be something I actually wear. So it's a nuanced thing. It depends on who the influencer is. It depends on what relationship you have with them. You can, have a conversation with them first. Ask them what they would like, how they would like to. If it's a service, would they like to experience it? I would be like, नहीं यार कौन experience करने आएगा, इतनी दूर आओ, traffic में जाओ, मज़ा भी नहीं आया, तो then what? Or I know I'm going because I've been invited, there'll be special treatment, so I can't really evaluate the service from the point of view of a customer. So there are all these things, and it really depends on comfort levels for the brand as well as for the influencer. As far as having like a marketing budget is concerned, if you have a gifting budget, that's great. You could also have a charity budget. So it doesn't have to be that gifting nahi karna hai, uske paise nikal ke I'll give it to charity. have a charity budget. If you think that, gifting is not something you want to do, so suddenly you have 1% of your marketing budget free, and now you can move it towards charity. And I don't think there is any problem in tying that with your brand as well. So, for example, if you are a massage place, maybe when you're donating the, chairs to disabled people, you could also offer them a free massage. And I don't think people will mind that and say that, oh, thank you so much X brand, and, thank you for these wheelchairs, and thank you for also this amazing massage. So that's also like a gift, isn't it? And I might, again, not all of them might appreciate it. A lot of stuff that comes in for free, I think, is not appreciated in general, culturally also in India, or in human beings in general. Free hai, so we don't attach value to it. So that is, I think, where the problem of gifting comes in. Even if it's a high value product, if you're giving it to me for free, I'll be like, oh, okay, thanks. What more are you expecting from me? So in general, I think if you are a brand that understands brand building, instead of gifting, I would suggest that you work, instead of sending it to 30 to 35 people, you work with 1, 2, 3 influencers who you feel genuinely connect with your brand, and both parties have spent time building that relationship. And instead of, giving them 3,000 ka gift, you have a lakh, right? You pay each person, a larger amount of money, and do a more well-meaning campaign that helps in brand building and brand awareness. So there, instead of gifting, you're actually paying someone, you're paying them their professional fee, and their audience also gets to see it in a more conceptual way. You give the influencer a chance to express their creativity, to actually evaluate or use your service and say, okay, I'm doing a campaign with them. I think the audience appreciates that. People who come to my Instagram appreciate it when I say, "Arey, maine is client ke sath ye kaam kara." They want to support you. None of us would be here if we didn't have an audience. Like, we are nothing without the audience. So it's not, gifting is like, it feels a little sleazy to a lot of people. काम ही कर लो ना, सीधा पैसे दे दो, काम कर लो, audience को भी बता दो कि देखो इन्होंने मुझे पैसे दिए, ये जाके मैंने किया. Now if it doesn't have substance, then whether you're paying them or you're sending them gifts is not going to make a difference any which ways. This particular brand and the way they've worded the email, I think it sounds like there's a lot of substance and a lot of meaning and a lot of thought. So I think what you should do is take that 1 lakh, divide it amongst 3 influencers. Trust me, you will get some really good influencers, high-end ones, and do a partnership with them. When you're launching the new store, you could work with one person who's local and you can invite them, and they could do like a campaign around the launch of your store. And the other 2 could be in different locations in the country, if that's how it works. Otherwise, all 3 could be local. And all 3 could come, you could do a nice photo with them. You don't need to hire like an expensive photographer. They could, take each other's photos. It becomes like this network thing, and, the entire audience of these, 3 people will get to know about your service or your product, and that's what it is. It's brand awareness, brand building. More people get to know about your product, etc. Gift, when you send, even the audience is like, "Ye kya free ka gift aaya hai, mujhe bhi de do." There's no value really attached to that as such. Who doesn't love receiving gifts? I just had a conversation with someone who's like, "Naina, please tell me what your address is. I want to send you all these, I have all these gifting campaigns." See, larger brands have a budget for it. They do it. I get it. But I think even that is like a waste. You should still work with 4, 5 influencers, 20 influencers, depending on what your budget is, and do a proper structured framework campaign, which, promotes the product that you're talking about. It's a new launch or anything, like that. So that is my advice about gifting. As a brand, I think if I wanted to, for example, what would I promote? I would promote my art exhibition, for example. I would send invitations to people, but I think it would be better for me to, instead of even sending out those printed invitations, it would be better for me to actually call up people. Call them up and say that, "Hey, I'm having my second or my first art." No, I've had one exhibition. So I'm having my exhibition. It would be really nice if you could make it. This is the date. And then arrange for food and drinks and things like that. So that, I think, is different. I think people who would genuinely like to support me would show up. That's how it works. But beyond that, if I want a larger audience to find out that I have an exhibition happening and I want like a random number of people to show up, then yeah, maybe I could think of sending out a little bit of stuff or send out, printed invites and things like that. I think even printed invites these days, like what is the point? As a small brand, if you're trying to save money, then why are you even printing invites? There is email, there are phone calls, talk to people. I think talking to people is connecting better with them in that sense. And if it was something like an art exhibition, I would call people and be, like, please come. I would really love to have you there because you've supported me. And ideally, yeah, it would be people who have supported me, seen me through my journey, have been following my work for a long time, have talked about my work to other people. Those are the kind of people who have put me where I am today. I think that's how it works with every brand. Like I am a brand, Naina.co is a brand, and that is how I would approach it. Again, I'm not really sure. Once I actually get to doing my art exhibition, then we'll see how I manage it. But I think it is important to have a marketing budget. You decide that this is the percentage of my marketing budget. And within that, if you have leeway for a gifting budget, sure, give it a shot, do some trial and error, figure it out. You'll see who works how, what works better for people, etc. And don't do marketing only when you need marketing. The best time to do marketing is when you don't need it. Marketing is a thing that you need to do all the time. Always be selling. Don't be obnoxious about it, obviously. But I think marketing is, it's required all the time. So yeah, thank you for listening to another episode. You can please always send me questions, whether you're a brand, you're a brand manager, you work in PR, you are a fellow blogger, fellow influencer, you're a photographer. You can write to me, you can send me questions, and we can all talk about it. I'm not an expert. I've been around, I can share my experiences, yes, and I can attempt answers. More than happy to do that anytime. Thank you for listening. Bye.